Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 10 of Mental Health Live Chat. Please let me know if you can hear us okay and see us all right. Sometimes my camera is sassy and doesn't like to focus, but I appreciate everybody being here. Today I have Beth with me again. Hello, Beth. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Joining me.
Hi, how are you? How are you doing today, everyone?
Why don't you let everybody know a little bit about yourself for the people that don't know who you are? Who've been living on
Okay, on the mental health side? On the mental health side of things?
Yeah, just tell us all about yourself.
Hey, Rebecca's here. Hey, Rebecca.
Hello, Rebecca.
Yes, I live in Houston. I am a reseller, which is how I met Destiny through hers and Tommy's reselling channel. And I have OCD diagnosed, probably 20 years ago. And so, yeah, I also work from home for a lawyer, pretty much full time. So I have a lot on my plate. I'm also a caregiver to several people and kind of overwhelmed and stressed.
Yeah. So I understand that one.
Yeah, I'm ready for a vacation.
I'm going to drop your link for anybody in chat that's not showing love to your page.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
How you doing, Rebecca?
There we go.
Happy Saturday to you. I was just reminded that we're setting our clocks forward tonight, and there's also going to be a full moon, and we also have Friday the 13th this week. So we have a lot in the universe going on this week. Hey, Crystal. Good morning.
Hello, Crystal. Wow, that's
if you believe in that sort of thing, you know, I want to stay in your house this week. Don't walk under any ladders.
Well, you know, Friday the 13th always tends to be really good for me personally.
That's good.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think it's got a bad rep.
Yeah, I'm not usually a superstitious person, except I do have feelings about the moon. I do feel like that really does affect things.
Oh,
when I have clients coming to the office and I have crazy days, I'm like, I always ask someone, what's the moon today? Because it really seems to coincide with the craziness that I get in the office. So
exactly. Yeah. You know, and that's the thing. I mean, even here, you know, when it's a full moon, I try to like not be out and about because people are kind of scary.
Yeah, they are.
I like staying home. I dropped the link for the panel if anybody would like to join us today. And I will drop it throughout the whole show. We'll probably be on for about an hour and a half. So if you guys would like to join, you're more than welcome. Remember, this is a place where you can open up and not have to worry about being judged, and to share whatever you feel you need to share, what your heart's telling you to share. So, hello, eBay reseller and Thrift King. Welcome. And like I said, I did drop the link in chat, and I will continue to drop the link throughout the show or throughout the episode. Again, it is Mental Health Live Chat episode 10. I can't believe I'm at episode 10 already. Wow.
That's awesome.
It seems like I just started when I went to go log in this morning to pull it up to send you the link. I was like, episode 10 already? Holy wow. You know, so, and let's see.
Rebecca says that her OCD is getting worse with this virus thing going around.
Yeah.
I know that at least in our local channel, they're starting to report the flu deaths versus coronavirus deaths. And, you have a chance of getting the coronavirus, but as far as, getting super, super sick and dying from it, your percentages very low, unless you're very old or have respiratory, issues.
Or no spleen.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. So, we just went through December with my baby granddaughter having RSV, and that's the same way. It affects the most the babies and the elderly. So, Crystal says, Beth, does your OCD ever make you feel like you were in a dream, but you were awake, or make you feel like you are disconnected from the world? My son is experiencing this. Okay, that's a great question. The way I explain my OCD is that I'm looking out at you right now. I see the screen, but in front of me, kind of opaquely, I can see through it. There's like a movie playing constantly in front of that. So I have to look through. The only way I can explain it. So it's kind of like when people have biofeedback for like ear stuff, they learn how to tune things out and tune into something that they need to tune into. And that's what I've learned how to do. It's always there. And I have to choose to either stay with it and go down that rabbit hole, or just, see the world. So yeah, if I did disconnect, which I have to be in that dream state, which is in that opaque part. Yes, very good question.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
and he can learn that. He can learn how to do that through CBT therapy if he's already in it. I don't know if he is or not, Crystal, but they kind of teach you how to, it's never going to go away from me. It's always going to be there. So I just have to, that's why I have to keep my mind busy and keep busy doing things to focus on things that are out actually in the real world.
Crystal said, yes, that is sort of how he explains it to me. My OCD is completely different.
Okay, so Crystal, what is yours? Is yours like cleanliness and all that kind of stuff, germs? Hi, Dustin. Nice to meet you.
That is my cousin.
Hey, Gina. Oh, Dustin's your cousin?
Yep, that is my cousin. And awesome. He has a YouTube channel all about music. Actually, I should pull that up so I can drop that link as well. But yeah, awesome. He sings, and I come from a very musical family. Yeah. And so, oops. Sorry, cuz I just spelled your name totally wrong on my
and he's got his little guitars there, his little guitar emojis.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, he loves music. He's got quite a few videos. Oh, hold on one second. I apologize. Mr. Pickles wants to sing with my cousin.
Oh, counting and letters. You have to spell and count everything in your head. Sometimes it's so distracting when driving because I'm counting lights or dots on the road. Yeah, so, it's just menthol, Gina. Okay, so when I first started really noticing my OCD, I was actually stepping on cracks. My friend noticed it first. Whenever I would walk on the sidewalk, she kept saying, why do you always have to step on the cracks, Beth? And in the grocery store, it was hell because all the squares, I'd have to actually go backtrack a bit so I could step on the cracks, and I would step on the edges of rugs and the edges of shadows. So then I went through CBT to get rid of that. Well, then it went backwards. Then it went, I have to step in between the cracks and not touch the cracks. And so I noticed that when I'm driving, she made me remember this, driving, I'm always in my mind jumping the lines in my head with my eyes. But I don't count them. I don't think I've ever really been a counter. But yeah, my eyes have to jump when I'm driving. That's why I have to keep my mind moving.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, mine are different. I can't close them. I have to keep cabinets and drawers open. It drives my wife up the freaking wall. And it's starting to, and my boss notices it too. He'll come in the kitchen and all the cabinets are open. I don't like to close them.
Yeah, me
She
personally.
thinks it's laziness, and to me, it's just like it's not right to close it. It's not right. It has to stay open.
Yeah, me, I closing.
You
Everything is
close?
closed. Yeah.
Okay, see, mine's backwards. Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah,
And
it's
I kind of
crazy.
wonder, where did that start? Where did that come from? You know,
Like in the house that we live in now, we don't really have doors on our closets.
uh-huh.
So um, we have like a sheet, and it's really hard for me at times to have that open. But Tommy's got it to where we have some shirts hanging up, so I can't close it all the way. It drives me
You
nuts.
know, my closet doors are always open.
Yeah, see, and
Always.
the two big or the three big closets we have upstairs, their doors have to be closed at all times, and it's like I can feel when they've been opened, because I'm like, what door's open, what door's open. Bathroom door, if I'm in the bathroom, it has to be open, but if I'm not in the bathroom, I tend to like want to shut it all the time. And I'm getting better, but not as well as I should. Um, but cupboards and drawers and all that, they have to be closed. And our
Yeah, no, my bathroom door has to be open. Luckily, my bathroom is in the master, so like it's not like everybody can just walk by.
right, yeah, we only have one bathroom. It's very tiny. So, hi,
Jennifer.
Kim. Welcome. Um,
He gets too loud, just put it on the bathroom.
okay, what did you do? Okay.
Maybe out home.
Oh, Tommy. Okay, so the birds are being very loud, and I do apologize for that. But Tommy had an idea. I don't know exactly what they're watching, but all three birds are watching TV right now. I don't know if you guys can see. You turn the TV.
They're watching Funny Pets.
Oh, okay, so they're watching Funny Pets. And all three of them are watching the TV.
My dog likes to watch Downton Abbey or anything British. She likes the British accents, I guess.
Yeah, I like British. Tommy doesn't. He's like, really? So when we go to bed at night, he's all like, don't put anything dumb on. I'm like, I don't put anything dumb on. And he's like, that got really loud. Hey, Tommy, are you still up here? That's really loud. All of a sudden, it just got really loud.
We leave cartoons on during the day for the dogs on the Cartoon Network. I always wanted to leave like the Animal Planet on, but she won't let me because she said, this is so silly, but she's like, no, they kill animals on there. I'm like, I don't think they can tell that. I was like, really? That's Cartoon Network. Okay.
But it works. I mean, Mr. Pickles, it's not even been years since we've had him. And I got him shortly after I got out of the hospital with my spleen stuff, a couple weeks after. And so he is a YouTube junkie, and he loves going live. Like, he knows when I'm live because he's got to sit there and be like, I'm Mr. Pickles, which is something that he started probably a couple months after we got him. He didn't really do a whole lot. I don't even think he really knew how to be a bird. And so it was crazy. And now and there's certain people on YouTube he absolutely loves. And it's like he knows their schedule, or he knows when they're going to go live before anybody else does. Because it's like, I don't know, it's so weird. He'll like do a certain church. And I'm like, oh, got to go check, see who's live. And yeah, it's like he knows he doesn't get a whole lot of YouTube because we don't have a tablet that's safe enough for him right now. So, but yeah, he definitely loves his YouTube. Such a stinker with it. Are you still here, Dustin, or did you leave? I just saw that. I'm going through chat, and I apologize that I'm a little bit slow with the chat. If you are still here, you said just wanted to stop or wanted to say hi. So thank you for stopping, cuz. I love you. You have a good day. Let's see. Let me catch up here.
Crystal has a question about CBT.
What's that?
Crystal has a question about CBT. What CBT is? It's cognitive behavior therapy, and it's really exposure therapy. So exposing you to your fears and your obsessions, and working through the anxiety of it. So, it's kind of like if you were afraid of spiders, they would put a spider in your hand kind of thing.
No.
It's really scary to me because, they want me to, well, let me just do something tangible because most of mine is mental, but I did have the crack thing. When I would, avoid the cracks, they would have me stand on the cracks. We would go out to the parking lot and I'd have to walk on cracks. And of course, my anxiety level was just like going up like crazy. And, and then once you feel the anxiety and you get through it, then you realize, well, I'm still here. Everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I went through all that anxiety. Then the next time it's supposed to be less anxiety. And I did get rid of all of my, what I would call rituals that way. Also, I had certain rituals with my hands and, I did do some counting and some chanting or mantras or whatever. And so like when I would do that, they'd say, okay, well, this time when you wash your hands, go wash them in a different sink. Or only do it 3 times instead of 4. You throw like a wrench into the system.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to tap something 4 times, tap it 5 times. And you throw it and it just like breaks that loop and your head doesn't know what to do with it, and it can be very stress inducing because you only want to do it 4 times. But once you throw that in there, it really did work for me. I got rid of all of my rituals that way. And so now if I start a ritual, I can pretty much tell, this is going to become a ritual. And I start right away doing something different with it to keep it from getting to that point.
Yeah, see, and like I need to learn how to manage my, like when I do get when my anxiety and depression kick in, I have to learn how to manage it to where like it doesn't sound like I'm snapping off if somebody asks me a question. And so I have to learn how to control that. And the medication that they gave me when I go to my doctor's appointment, I got to talk to her about it because it's now causing suicidal thoughts. Not that I would ever commit suicide, but it's something that I've never experienced before, or at least to this extreme. And I don't know if it's the medication or if it's because it's coming up on my 1-year anniversary of my spleen. I'm not sure, so I got to talk with her about that and see if it's what we can do for it. And so my anxiety, especially in the last couple weeks, have been really high. Like I just celebrated my 40th birthday, and I was very thankful to be able to experience that. And now I just feel old, and it's like, no, I'm supposed to be happy. And, I keep being told that,
Yeah. And a lot of these medications do cause suicidal thoughts.
Yeah. And it's overpowering. Like at night, I'm so tired and I sleep, but I feel like I'm in a quantum leap episode where I'm jumping from one scenario to another scenario, and it all has to do with suicide, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And so it's really hard for me to feel like I'm well rested when I wake up. And so because I feel like I'm okay, well, the TV is not obviously working. He's trying to talk to the birds or the animals on TV. Hold on 1 second. I apologize.
Hey, Kelly. Good to see that you're working. I'll be able to work this afternoon probably with you.
Hello, Kelly. Welcome. Sorry, before my bird decided to be loud.
So, Crystal, I don't remember what kind Jake has of OCD. Is it more rituals that he has? Because, you can do that at home. If he's got rituals, you can do that at home. Just say, hey, like if he does something in the same place every time, ask him to move over 10 feet and do it. Just something different to fool and get that loop broken up. Hey, there's Heather.
Hello.
I was hoping Heather would pop in today. I haven't seen her since the last time I was on. So I've actually disconnected my YouTube from all my devices and taken the notifications off of my computer because I have been kind of in a really dark place right now. And also I'm really working on my business. And I just really felt like I just kind of wanted to isolate myself from YouTube for a while. I haven't even gone live in like 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
But I've been doing recorded videos and that seems to be okay for me. But I'm surprised that I'm even on here today.
Well, I'm glad.
Actually, this isn't causing me anxiety. Going live on my channel has been causing me anxiety.
Yeah,
What?
about a half hour before every Saturday live, I get the weebie-jeebies, I guess you could call it. My anxiety kicks on pretty bad, and so I'm like sitting there going, trying to breathe through it,
yeah, I used to throw up when I first started, and I used to have to call my friend like 30 minutes before, and she taught me up, and then after it was over, then I would cry. And I would have to call her, and I would cry and tell her all the mistakes that I made and why did I say that stupid thing. And then she would talk me down, and then I'd just repeat the next week.
And that's how I feel too. I feel like a lot of times I share too much, if that makes sense. And I'll sit there and I'll reflect on the live, and I'm like, oh, and maybe I shouldn't have shared that. Or maybe no wonder why people are like looking at me funny, and there's people out in our town that have no idea that I do YouTube, but they're looking at me funny, and I'm just like, did they watch my live? I get real self-conscious.
Yeah, everyone in the whole world knows about your live stream. That's kind of how you feel. It's like,
yeah, it does. And I'm just like, okay, alrighty. I definitely said something so not right, and I will ask Tommy afterwards. I'm like, hey, Tommy, did I overshare on something? Because I always feel like that I've overshared something. Mm-hmm. And so I just never know exactly what it is. And so I kind of feel really self-conscious, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know how to react.
You're one of the most transparent YouTubers out there that I know. So knowing that doesn't bother me if you share stuff like that, because I know it's true. Yeah. I know it comes from your heart, and I know you're struggling with it. Whereas some people might go in there and do it for attention or, kind of embellish things.
Right.
And so I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I think you share just fine.
I'm conscious after my lives because I'm like, well, I guess the filter when I start to talk doesn't work very well. And so a lot of times it just comes out and I'm like, oh, should I said that? Oh no, crap, and it stinks sometimes. But then I look at it this way too. A lot of times when I don't put that filter on and I'm just talking and I'm sharing things about myself, somebody else obviously needed to hear that. And so it's like one of those catch-22 type things. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, where I know I was supposed to say it, but yet I feel like I shouldn't have said it, and I overshared, and it's I don't know. It's my brain like overthinks things, I think. eBay reseller and Thrift King had a question. Does depression feel like you're disconnected from the world? I don't feel like going to work, heart palpitations. I just feel miserable during these spells. Yes. It does for me personally. Everybody is different when it comes to their depression, their anxiety, their OCD. Everybody is different. We may be diagnosed with the same thing, but it affects us each differently. And we could have a lot of the same symptoms and we can relate to the same symptoms. Oh, by the way, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a counselor. This is just my personal belief and what I found while doing my mental health lives and talking with other people and stuff like that. But yes, it does. For me personally, I feel very disconnected. I feel like I'm the only one going through it. Nobody else understands what I'm going through. I don't want to deal with people. I hide. That's a big one for me. I hide either in my games or into what I'm doing on my computer, or just jump in the shower. That's another thing that I do, that when my anxiety is super, super high, I notice that I take more showers. And if my depression, like when my depression and anxiety, I should say, kick in really hardcore, I can take up to 4 or 5 showers a day. And I take 1 shower a day, but on the days that it's really bad, I take 4 or 5, sometimes even more showers, and it's very frustrating, and it sucks on my water bill because our water bill is always so high. But it's the only thing that I feel like where I can escape, and then the hot water feels really good, and it kind of helps me come down from my depression and anxiety episode. But then when I get out, it's like it starts all over again, and I hate that. So I am a snap. And Thrift King says I'm a snapper with people and very moody. I am the same way. That's and like I said earlier, maybe it was before we went live, or maybe after. I'm not exactly sure, but I have to learn how to regulate my moods, and when I am going through an episode, I try not to speak a lot for fear that whoever is talking to me may think that I'm mad at them, or whatever the situation is. And so I personally have to learn how to control that, and I've gotten better. But when my anxiety and depression is really high, sometimes I just can't do it. It's really hard. So I'd rather be quiet than to open my mouth and say, something that I may regret later. Hi, Dwayne. He said Heather will be here shortly.
Great. When I get anxious, I kind of like stomp. Like I go through the house and I'm just like, dun, 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 from one thing to another. Like I just, it's like I'm mad, but I'm not mad. I'm just frustrated and anxious. And that's how I get from one place to another. I mean, I just really put it to the floor, when I walk.
Yeah.
And we have hardwood, so you can hear me,
stomping
around.
Like, okay, so I have bad feet, so I can relate with the stomping thing. And there's a lot of times where I don't realize I'm doing it. And I've never thought of connecting it with my anxiety or depression. Hold on 1 second. I apologize. I've never really thought to put those two together and see if they're linked. But there's a lot of times that Tommy will come up and be like, "What is wrong?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "You're stomping." And I'm like, "No, I'm not." He's like, "I can hear it in the basement." And I'm like, "Oh." Okay.
Mhm.
You know, so I can relate with the stomping thing, but I will definitely, um, definitely relate to that whole thing. Okay, I'm
Mhm.
gonna go cover him. Oh, he's quiet at the moment, so I.
Tommy, why don't you come cover Mr. Pickles?
He tried to get him. He tried to get him quiet by putting the TV on for me. Hello, Leticia. I don't remember if I said hello to you or not. Hello, Glenn. Welcome, welcome. Jonathan, welcome. I just want to make sure that I'm welcoming everybody that came in. I hope I welcomed everybody. If not, I apologize and say, hey, you forgot me in the chat so that I can welcome you.
Back up to Crystal. She said that Jake does not have rituals. Jake has expectations. For example, ordering 6 nuggets and getting 7 would cause a complete meltdown.
All right, I will be right back. I do have to cover
Okay.
him.
Yeah, I can see that, especially with the autism. I had a student my last year that I taught who was autistic, and if we switched art for music that day, I mean, he would just, his whole day was shot, blown. If I did a lesson just in a circle instead of on the smart board like I would normally do it, he would just freak out and tell me, no, you always do it on the smart board. You're supposed to do it on the smart board. You can't do it this way. You're ruining my whole life, And so I get that. Yeah, Heather's here. Heather, are you going to come on the show so I can talk to you face to face? I really enjoyed talking to you the last time I was on. So it's great to see everyone. Tommy doesn't want to keep running up and down the stairs. Are you working, Tommy? So Rebecca, you have, you're talking about your cleaning right now. Are you like a really manic cleaner with your OCD? Like, does everything have to be really super sanitized? I'm assuming that's kind of OCD you have.
Okay, sorry about that.
I am not a neat freak, and whenever I tell people I have OCD, they automatically assume that like my house is spotless and I lock doors over and over again, and people do not realize that that is just not that, that may be what everyone thinks OCD is, but there are so many different forms of it. That's why I didn't know what it was. That's why, back in the 80s, they could not diagnose me because I didn't have those kind of symptoms.
Right. I wish I had the OCD that came with the cleaning part of that.
Oh, yeah, everyone says that Mothership Leticia, everyone says that, or whoever told me that, or the room, yeah, Mothership Products, I guess that's Dwayne. Everyone tells me that they love the color of my room. We rent this house right now, and we don't like the blue, but everyone on YouTube is always telling me it's a great color. So.
All right. So Leticia says, and on the weekends I want to go thrifting and come home and research and everything and get frustrated with my family coming over when they want to. Do I sound mean? No, I don't think you do. Like with the situation with Tommy, he's we don't have kids for 2 weeks. They're with their aunt and uncle for 2 weeks, so we're cracking
Ooh.
down and working and to try to catch up with everything. And he has bad knees, so well, he's got bad joints in general all over. So it's hard for him to keep coming up and down the stairs. And so what I did was I took Mr. Pickles, put him in the smaller cage, and I put him in the bathroom with the door shut. He will learn to be quiet and behave himself.
So he's in timeout.
He is in timeout. Yes, my birds get timeouts just like our kids do. And so the thing is Tommy puts up with a lot of stuff, and I'm grateful for that because he's teaching me slowly how to manage things where before it was really hard for, like, when him and I first got together, I didn't have like my anxiety and my depression were like what's the word I'm looking for? It was leveled out. And so for like a year, I was doing really good. And I was like, yeah, and this and that. And then about a year, almost 2 years into our relationship, it started going downhill. And it's so like certain things just really like trigger, and I don't know how to work it very well. Hold on. I just saw something and my brain got thrown off, so I apologize. eBay reseller at thrifting. I'm thinking about getting bird shamrock. I had one before as a kid. My birds, I love them to death. Except for except for when I'm live and they're loud now. I love them all the time. I've only had the birds since July. So Mr. Pickles I got in July of last year. And then we ended up with Remy a couple months later, and then a couple months after that, we ended up with Chaplin. So it's still a new thing for me, but they have helped me a lot. With my anxiety and my PTSD and my depression and stuff, they're helpful. So if you are willing to, and this is just my advice, if you are willing to take on the loudness, no matter when or where they decide to do it, I personally say go for it. And they are also, I read an article where they're actually going to be opening up the restrictions on support animals to include birds and other farm animals, goats, pigs, I think was another one that they had on the list that they're talking about opening it up, because normally it's just cat and dogs and stuff like that. But now they're talking about opening that up. So that is a real big blessing for me. So because a lot of people don't want birds in their homes when you rent. They don't want a lot of animals in their homes when you rent. And we're pretty blessed with our landlord that she's really cool about that. And because we have ducks, we have a cat, and we have birds. And so with being them opening that up, I'll be able to move anywhere and still be able to have my birds. And so, but I would look into it.
I'm still surprised that the cats don't try to kill the birds.
Oh, no, those are her babies. Those are her babies.
I mean, that just surprises me so much.
Yeah.
We were always taught to keep cats and birds separate.
Yeah, not here. Let me see if I can find, hold on, it might be here. Tommy actually just took some pictures of the birds and stuff together. Let me find them. It is the funniest thing when it comes to our cats and our birds. People, even the vet was tripping out that we have a cat that, oops. Okay, so here is Gabby on the floor submitting to Mr. Pickles.
Wow.
And look how close they get. I mean, and he's fallen asleep on her. She goes up by the cages and she lays down. These are her babies. And our ducks actually were raised by a cat. My cat Bellfire. He actually helped raise our ducks when they were babies. And now they are raising a kitten. It's probably like 6 months old now. And this morning I woke up to Gabby in my face, and then she went over by her, because the way our bed is, we have a window like in front of our bed. And she kept coming and waking me up. And I'm like, what? And then she went to the window, and I looked out, and the ducks were actually playing with the kitten, and the kitten was playing with the ducks. I mean, the kitten would run, and the ducks would run after him. And I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, can't get close enough to him to find out what exactly sex it is. And then the ducks would run and he would chase, and then it was like this big old thing. And me and Tommy were talking about it this morning. It's crazy that our animals literally are not normal. you know. Have a good day, Leticia. Thank you for stopping.
Hi, Leticia. They were talking to Leticia about making a schedule. It's hard to make a schedule when you have an open door policy in your home. Yeah. It really is. Unless you stop that open door policy, it's going to be really hard to do.
My chat froze on me, so I apologize. Let me get this.
Heather had a rat that got along with the cats.
Yeah, Pete, Craigslist Hunter, he's got a macaw, and he's got a new cat, and they get along great. And he had Milo and Ruby got along great as well. So, I mean, it is very possible for them to coincide, but I think because when we got Gabby, she was still kind of a baby. So it helps when they grow up together. Granted, Mr. Pickles is the oldest out of all of our animals. He is 11, and he'll be 12, 4th of July. Because we can't read everything on his band. We know that he was born in 2007. 2007. He'll be 12 this year.
There's this donut couch that helps keep the guests down. And keep an empty pantry and an empty refrigerator as well. Of course, they can always bring their own, though.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't have a place to sit, and they won't come over.
Right. For sure. Yes. Okay, so Rebecca, she said, let's see, where is it? It just jumped. She said, Destiny has seen my house, but if something is moved, I've seen it. I don't know how, because my work took over my house, if that makes sense. Yeah, and that's the thing with the OCD thing. I'm trying to go back a little bit and try to catch up here. Yeah, I don't know. Your house has a lot of inventory in it, Rebecca. I love you to death, but your house has a lot of inventory. So when she says that it has overtaken her house, she is not lying. Dwayne, yeah, it is very important to have self-time. You don't always get it, but if you make an attempt to try to do it as much as possible, especially when you're having any type of episode with your mental health, it's very important to kind of reflect and kind of let's see what is the word I'm looking for? Reflect and try to figure out what's going on. Let's see here.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm here today, because I've been having so many OCD issues the last couple of weeks. And that's why I haven't been going live. And I thought, I just need to go do something to give myself some confidence and go, help people answer questions, and that'll get me out of my spot. because I always find if I try to help other people, then it doesn't make my stuff feel so bad.
See, yeah, I can. That's why I like doing my lives on Saturday morning, because if I've had a really rough week, I always look forward to doing, going live on Saturday, even though it's a lot of times, half an hour before, 45 minutes before, my system is not agreeing with me, but I look forward to it because it gives me, if I feel like I have a purpose. And so I get to talk about the things that happened that past week, and I get to um, share, and then I get to listen to other people and how they were, this past week or the week before. And it's for me, it feels it's very therapeutic. Is that the word I'm looking for? And if something that I've gone through this past week, helps somebody else, um, that's great, because that's what I want to do. I don't like focusing on myself. I don't like um, sharing my problems, but I know at the same time I'm not the only one going through it, and I've learned that since doing this. And so I feel like I did not see you this week, Shamrock. Okay, so yeah, I will explain that in a few minutes. eBay reseller. So it's been, this past week has been crazy. It's the last couple weeks have been really busy for us. And so at the beginning of this week, we were in the Dells hanging out with some family / friends. We've known them for a long time. We just haven't seen them in a while. So we got to finally catch up with them, got to sit in the hot tub with them, got to relax, de-stress. And then, as a lot of you know, the last couple of weeks I've been expressing how my mental health has been kind of like on a downward decline, and it's been really crazy. And I was telling Beth this before we went live. So the beginning of the week started out great, and then depression kicked in, PTSD kicked in, all this other stuff kicked in, and I was starting to feel really low. And like I didn't understand why I was still here, and which I've gone through a lot since my spleen, but I didn't, like, I was having just a really rough time, and it's coming up to my 1 year anniversary of my spleen rupturing, well, exploding. I shouldn't say rupture, because rupture would have been nice, not exploding, and mine exploded. But last night, Tommy and I went to dinner, and because the kids left yesterday, they're gone for 2 weeks. Yay. We have 2 weeks of vacation. And not that I don't love my kids. I love my kids very much, but having these small breaks with them is really nice, because we didn't have them for like 5 years. So really happy with that they get to see their cousins and family and stuff like that. But anyway, we were at dinner, and there was a table kitty corner like this from us. And again, where my mental health is and everything, it's been just really icky. But the gentleman stood up and walked by us, and I went, my jaw hit the ground. And Tommy's like, what? And I'm like, is that one of the surgeons that saved me? And he looks over, he's like, yes, it is. Well, I still wasn't convinced fully that was the surgeon, even though Tommy said it was, because he was in everyday street clothes. He wasn't in his normal, what I saw him in. And so, hello, Heather. Welcome, welcome.
Heather, sorry, rookie move. Didn't have my YouTube.
It's all good. It's all good. So anyway, I we're eating dinner, and I'm just like, is that really him or not? And Tommy's like, yes, it's him. So we finished our dinner and he was with his family. And I really felt uncomfortable just kind of like saying, excuse me, are you the gentleman that saved my life? So I waited until like they were done eating for the most part. We were just sitting there talking. And we stood up and I'm like, my anxiety was really, really bad, really bad. And it shouldn't have been, considering that this guy was one of the gentlemen that helped save my life. I shouldn't have been my anxiety shouldn't have been that way, but it was. And yeah, I was playing stalker. And that's the time he said, he's like, we're standing here and you're going back and forth, trying to figure out if you're gonna go say hi to him or not and thank him again. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to look like I'm being a stalker. So I walked over and I said, excuse me. And he's like, yes. I said, are you a surgeon? He's like, yes, I am. And he's like, you're the girl with the spleen. And I'm like, he remembered me. He knew exactly who I was. And I got to meet his wife. I met his children. And Tommy and I both met his wife and his children and stuff. And again, I told him, thank you so much, for saving my life. And I think it was a sign that, their hard work is why I'm still here. And it reminded me that I think I needed that validation that I need to keep pushing through and to get through it. But it was the whole thing was just like perfect timing, if that makes any sense. Because I've been not hitting rock bottom, but been very low. And then looking at my scar and, so it's like, so running into him last night was like something I think I really needed. And his wife, she put her hand on my shoulder and she's like, I can see that you are so grateful. And she's like, I was in a severe car accident and I'm very grateful for the people that saved my life. And so she could tell, and I think she could tell too that my anxiety was real high and I was trying not to bawl like a big old baby, because I'm very appreciative of him, being there and saving my life. It was him and another doctor that did the surgery. And he was all playing nonchalant. Oh, all I did was stand there. No, you didn't. He is the reason why I was not transferred from the hospital. Because if I would have been transferred, I would not be here. He made that decision not to transfer me and to get me into surgery. So yeah, he played a very big role in saving my life. And so I was so happy that we ran into him, and it was, even though my anxiety was high, I felt good after. And his wife, she is so adorable. I swear he's like 6'6" because he made me feel so short all over again.
Did you hug him?
What's that?
Did you hug him?
I couldn't, because I was shaking so bad and I wanted to. And he stood up when he would talk to me, so that made me feel even more short. His wife stood up too. She's a little bit taller than me, but not much. So I know she knows what I was feeling with the shortness, And I did. I wanted to very much give him another hug, but my brain was so like, the only thing I could get out was thank you so much for saving my life. That's pretty much all I could get out. But there was so much more I wanted to say to him, and it just wouldn't come out. And so,
do you feel like you have him like on a pedestal?
I don't think
like your life was actually in his hands.
What's that?
Your life was actually in his hands, his and God's.
Yeah,
I had that with one of my OBs because I had a very bad pregnancy. And when it was all over, I had this man up on a pedestal like you would not believe, like he was God. Because, I remember the last time I saw him, I'm like, I never get to come back here anymore, It was just like a divorce or something. Like I fallen over my doctor or something, It's like,
he's my hero. Him and the other doctor that were there in the surgery, they're my heroes. The nurse that I had in the ER, she's the reason why everything went the way it needed to be, because it was complete chaos and because they didn't know what was going on. And she recognized the signs that I was hemorrhaging. And so, I mean, like, she was swearing, let me tell you. I have never in my life heard a nurse or doctor swear like this woman did. And she was stern. She made me scared. I was like, what do I need to do? And she's like, but yeah, I mean, she got everything moving. She had everything in order the way it needed to be very quickly. She got the blood that I needed to get transferred to the operating room. And it just, everybody that played a part last year in this with saving my life, I look as heroes. I don't, maybe I have them on a pedestal and not realize it, but I know that if it wasn't for all of them being where they needed to be at that particular time, I wouldn't be here. Like one of the surgeons, and I think it was Dr. Esther last night, I think he actually was at the stop and go light next to the hospital when they got the call. And the other doctor was just leaving the clinic and came straight to the hospital. I could have them backwards, but I know that one was at the stop and go light right next to the hospital, and one was leaving the clinic and on his way to the hospital when they got the call. So everything was put into place the way it needed to be. And it was such, like, I felt so much relief after I saw him last night. And I felt like I just got to keep trucking on. I got to keep moving forward because they saved me. I guess I don't want to disappoint, but at the same time, it's not so much disappointing. It's more of, I needed that reminder that I am here for a reason. So if any of that makes sense, sometimes
It all did.
like I'm trying to explain and it doesn't come out right.
Do you think that this 2 weeks that you're going to have without your children you're going to use that 2 weeks to kind of get through some of this? Because it's really hard to get through this when you've got kids in your house.
Yeah.
You don't want them to see the dark stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
it's probably a real blessing for you at this time that they are on, I guess, on spring break or something.
Yeah, it actually, I'm hoping it'll be beneficial so I can work on the stuff that goes on up here. And the war that I constantly have up here, it's the best way to describe it for me is I'm constantly at war with myself inside my head. And with the kids not here, I'll be able to try to work through that war, and hopefully it'll be I know the war will never end at this point, but I have hope that someday it will end and everything will be calm and I'll be able to focus. I have a huge problem with self-sabotage. Do either one of you have that problem?
I think everybody does to a certain extent. We all tend to be our own worst enemies.
Okay.
Our most harsh critics. Absolutely.
Okay. As long as I'm not the only, because I was talking with Tommy about this a couple weeks ago, and I was going to bring it up, and I don't remember if I did or not, because I do share so much. I sometimes get things confused as, did I say it behind the scenes? Did I say it live? And I personally do not like going back and watching my own videos because I sound very crazy and I would be scared of me.
Need to have someone
I can't handle listening to my voice. I mute it and I read the chat. I can't listen to my voice at all.
Yeah. I like to pop out the
things
chat.
that I've been dealing with. One of the things that I've been dealing with is people would say, well, you you're not really depressed because you don't look depressed, you don't act depressed. So therefore, you're not really depressed. You think you are. You can't hide your depression. Well, yeah, you can. For a certain length of time, you can.
And around
It's
certain
eventually
people.
going to blow. It's eventually going to come out and blow when you hold it in like that. But that's what I was saying. With the 2 weeks, it'll be a more safe place because you won't have to worry about the children being there and seeing it. You'll have Tommy as support. If you can let go of some of this crap and act crazy and do what you're holding back that you know you want to do, minus the suicide, okay?
Right.
It might be really good for you. It won't be as much of an enjoyable 2 weeks with Tommy probably, but you'll have some of those times in between. But I'm just saying that having children in the house, so we don't want them to see what's really going on. And that's what happened with me. I bottled stuff up for years, and then I had there was no more lid. It just blew. And what they saw was the worst, of it.
Yeah, and that's I don't want my kids to see that part of me. They've seen enough. They've been through enough. And so a lot of times I will, like, if I'm really, really frustrated and they come up to me and ask me a question, I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to snap. Why did I snap? So I have to sit there and like try to analyze, why did I just snap at them? They didn't do anything. They just asked me a question. And then, and I apologize to them a lot. And I feel really horrible at the way that sometimes I respond to them. And at the same time, I think they know. But one thing, my daughter is 12. And she's at that stage in her life where she's got a mouth. And she has said things to me like, Mom, you need to go take your meds. You are crabby. And I know exactly what she's meaning. Mom, you're being a bitch. Go take your meds. But she doesn't say it that way. She just says it in a nice way. And I'm like, crap. And then there's other times where she gets mad at me. She's like, Mom didn't take her meds today. And I'm like, oh, you're not going to go there. Because I did take my meds. You're just being a brat. And she's 12. She's got one heck of a personality. And there's not much that I will never change her personality because she's a very blunt person. And sometimes that's hilarious when she does it to other people. And not so hilarious when she does it to me. But Rebecca, I saw in chat that Rebecca said that I had a picture of the 2 surgeons that saved my life. And I do. I will show that real quick. All right. So this is the gentleman that I ran into last night. That
he's got a very memorable face.
Yes, he does. And I was just like, I thought it was him, but then, second guessing myself like I normally do.
His face was probably right in your face several times.
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember everything. Bits and pieces come back, and then I lose them again, and it's pretty crazy. And then, I mean, look how short I am compared to them.
He is freaky tall.
He is very tall, but he is awesome. His wife, she's a little bit taller than I am. So, I mean, it was like, I guess I was looking for a sign, and just running into him last night was a great sign. So it was pretty awesome. So Dr. Oh, I am horrible with names.
Leticia, it's okay. I think you had already left, Leticia, when I said it's really hard to make a schedule when you have an open door policy. Not that you need to stop your open door policy, but it's going to be very difficult because then you're going to get resentful when they come in during your scheduled time.
Right. So, Leticia, this is what the chat and this live is about. Coming in and venting, coming in and sharing, things that are bothering you. That is why we do this every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Time. You are more than welcome to come in here and do that. That's what we're here for. We tell our stories. We tell our problems. So don't feel bad.
We haven't heard from Heather. We haven't heard Heather's problems today.
My youngest son has been really stressed out. He needs to be medicated and he won't go to the doctor. He's 19, and something I'm really struggling with was now Jeremy's on the spectrum, so his development is atypical, but there's still that part of me, and it's a real battle. I think anyone who has a child that has not developed within the boundaries or the what do you call it, of typical, understands that there's the part of you that feels like, why am I still doing this? I fulfilled my contract. I got you to age 18. You're supposed to be in the driver's seat now. I'll always be here, but I'm not supposed to be the one driving this crazy bus anymore. And it's not a resentment towards him, but it's a definite frustration towards the situation, mainly because big picture, the kid's got to learn how to take care of himself. And he is capable. I know he's capable. He just won't do it. And it's very frustrating. So that's what I've been giving thought to in the way of mental health.
I know, as a parent, like as a mom, at 18, they should be able to take care of themselves. If I did my job right, both of my kids at 18 should be able to do what they need to do and survive. And I can relate to the whole thing of, I got you to this age, I'm done. Let me do my thing. But as a mom, we will always baby our kids, I guess you could say.
Sure.
And
be a soft place for them to fall.
Yeah, exactly. And where dads are the tough ones, and nope, it's you're 18, you're graduating, out the door you go. Where us moms are like, they can stay, it's okay.
No, actually, I was probably more excited for our daughter to leave than Dwayne was.
Daddy's girl, huh?
Yes. I did have, it was all around, 2011 was a challenging year in so many ways. And one of them was that my son left home, and that was really hard for me, because I didn't feel that he was ready to go. I knew I couldn't hold him back, but I didn't feel he was ready to go. And it's not that I thought he was going to fail. I just knew that he had a lot of lessons to learn still. So I was concerned about, and he got through it because that's how he is. He's a shooting star, but that's always scared me to death too. And, and then when my daughter left, so my son was only 18. When my daughter left, she was almost 21, and we had her boyfriend here who I get along with really well. And so, but when they moved out, that was fine, because my daughter isn't, you can't use the word sweet to describe her. She's beautiful and smart and funny. She's not sweet. I knew that she was going to be bipolar, probably starting by 10. I just saw the signs. But so yeah, I love talking to her like almost every day. That's great. I don't want to meet her again. And then I've got my youngest son who I'm like, I don't know. it's just his whole life, everything has just been a big question mark. We'll just see what happens when it happens.
Yeah, that's so. I really don't want my daughter to move out. I love her to death.
You will when it's time. You will. Every parent gets to that point where it's like it's time for you to leave the nest. You can come back and visit, but you're not living here anymore.
Yeah, well, and I don't want either one of my kids to move, to be honest. I love having them here, and stuff like that. But at the same time, um, I fear that when Jasmine hits 18, she's going to have her stuff packed a year beforehand, and on her 18th birthday, she'll be gone. And where my son, he'll take advantage of the situation and not leave. And I don't know if that makes any sense or sounds really.
Oh no, I got you. Yeah, because that's like I said, my oldest son. Not only was he out of the house, he was married, and he got married 2 months after graduation.
Oh wow!
And, yeah, and I was like, oh, you have chosen a difficult path. But yeah, and then with my youngest, it was on Christmas. We were at my oldest son's house, and we were like, so the whole family was like, so Jeremy, when I was 19, we went down our list of what we were doing at 19, and not to make him feel bad, but to show there are many options at 19. The whole world, a young, strong, healthy male. The whole world is open to him if he will do it.
Right.
And so it's really, really hard to see that he won't try. And people are like, why don't you make him blah, blah, blah. I'm like, have you ever successfully ever made someone do anything?
No, I haven't.
You can support them, but, plus it gets to the point where it's like, if you make somebody your child do something, it's not their accomplishment.
Right. I just saw Tommy's comment. I'm going to have our son's bags packed a year ahead of time. He is a stressor in the house, and I love him to death. But the day he moves out is going to be a very good day, as horrible as it sounds.
No.
But at the same time, it'll be a sad day, but more happy than sad. Unless he changes the road that he's on now. The path that he's on now is not a very good one. It causes a lot of gray hair, a lot of stress, a lot of frustration, a lot of fighting.
How old is he?
He is going to be 14 on Monday.
Okay.
Everyone wants their 14-year-old to move out. 14 is a horrible, horrible age.
I thought the last 5 years was horrible. You mean it gets worse? Uh-oh, Tommy.
By 16, things got better. For me, I think. But see, then as far as me personally, what's going on is because, I guess, I don't know if it'd be psychological, subconscious. I'm not sure what part of my brain that is like, okay, you're done hands-on parenting, because the kids are grown. So I have that, but then I also have going on that I entered adult life with my oldest son. And so I've never been an adult without children to care for. And so I'm having to redefine my role. And, I knew this day would come. I just thought I'd be more prepared, I think. But you can't prepare emotionally, really. You can foresee the logical steps of life, but you don't know how you're going to feel until you get there.
Right.
And then I've turned into this crazy lady that has to smile and wave to all the babies and toddlers in public because I want grandchildren and I don't have any.
I want
They're
both
wonderful.
of my kids to wait as long as possible before they make me a grandma.
And well, I've told my son, my oldest, because my concerns for my kids is they all like being very self-centered. And so I want them to have the experience of what it's to go through all the cycles of life,
Yeah.
including having to become responsible for someone else. And plus, I really hope that each of my children are just as challenging as they were, because they were way harder than I was as a kid. Way harder.
Yeah, I was lucky because I wasn't a bad kid. My brothers, on the other hand, we will not even go there. But I was the good one,
Me too.
and I'm the one that got jinxed with the bad kids. What is going on with that? My brothers were the worst, and now our parents always say, your kids are going to be 10 times worse than you. Okay, but where did I go wrong? Because I was the good one.
Yes, yeah.
I didn't sleep out. I didn't go to dinner parties. I did my schoolwork, and I got good grades. Not the best grades, but better than my brothers. And then how did I end up with the punk child? Like, really? And I do. I love my son, but he is a punk. He is a big punk and don't know how to fix it. Do
I tell
not know how to fix it.
my oldest sister has 2 adult daughters and she has grandchildren. And her daughters were no problem at all. They were very well behaved. They got good grades. And I told her between that she only had 2 and how good they were. I told her she never actually parented. They never actually had any problems. And my sister, she's like, yeah, I know.
Like, not fair at all. Real quick, Will asked, what does your spleen do? Okay, so your spleen is the biggest filter in your body. It filters your blood out. It helps your immune system. It's very important. Granted, it's one of the smaller organs, but it's one of the most important organs that you have. 9 times out of 10, the only time your spleen is removed is when there's some form of trauma. Well, I was born with a birth defect in my spleen, which is extremely, extremely rare. It's called AVM, arteriovenous malformation, which it took me up until just recently to say correctly and not have to slow down and say it. And I still stumble sometimes, but it's something that's usually found in your brain. AVM is found in your brain or your spine. Mine happened to be in my spleen. It's a cluster of your blood vessels, arteries, and stuff like that. So my spleen didn't work the way that it should have fully. And so when it ruptured, they had to remove it. I actually have no gallbladder and no spleen. So those are 2 of your filters that you have in your body. I have 2 missing. I have my liver, I have my kidneys, and both of them are shot. I just don't think I'm meant to have any good filters, but that's okay because
Are you going to have a transplant or something eventually?
No, I have kidney disease, and so I passed kidney stones, and I have a cyst in my left kidney. So every day I'm passing kidney stones. Just some days are a little bit more rough than others. And then there's like a little spot on my liver that they want rechecked in a year. And so that year is starting to come up. And in May, I'll be able to go and get it checked out just to make sure that it hasn't grown. But other than that, it's It's me. I've fallen apart. I don't have many organs left that they can remove. So let's just hope and pray that the ones I do have stay.
Absolutely. Yes.
No. So, but yeah, it is what it is. But that's what your spleen does. It's one of your big filters in your body to help filter out. It helps boost your immune system. It helps filter out your blood. It helps you fight, like when you get a cold, bacteria, stuff like that. So that's what your spleen does. Yes, Rebecca, I am having a live on St. Patrick's Day. It'll be my second annual St. Patty's Day live. I just have to get it all set up yet. I didn't realize St. Patrick's Day came so quick. Else. But yes, I will have a live on St. Patrick's Day. I have 2 things already that I'm going to be wearing for St. Patrick's Day. And anybody who would like to join me on the panel is more than welcome. I will do an open panel that day as well. Let's see. Let me just catch up here. Hello, Denise. Welcome. Much love, my friend. Kelly, thank you for stopping. I know that looks like you were here a little bit ago and left. I do apologize for being late, but thank you for stopping in. Denise, how is your hubby doing? I know he had surgery. Hello, Cliff. Welcome. Tommy's talking with Crystal. Yes, we have done a lot of stuff to try to correct our son's behavior, and nothing changed. We know he's got issues, but being a punk should not be one of them. And it's horrible at times.
Do you ever look at your kids and think, if you had my childhood, you would have died?
We didn't have video games growing up, and that's all our son wants to do is play video games.
That's my youngest. Yeah, our youngest, that's all he wants to do is play video games. And see, right here, see this? That is a job application that my daughter brought home when she had gone to a local owned hamburger joint that she used to work at.
Mm-hmm.
And she talked to one of the owners, and she came home with that application, and she's, Jeremy, get a job washing dishes. You don't have to deal with the customers. And he's like, I can't touch things. She's like, you can wear gloves, and you do dishes, and they love to talk about D&D. And we cannot get him to do it. And if we can get his anxiety under control, I think it would be a great job. But something that today's kids have is they're like, well, I don't want to wash dishes. And I'm like, do you think I wanted to be a bagger? Do you think your dad wanted to sweep a tire store? No, you don't want to do your first job, but you do it because it's a job experience. And it's probably going to be something that kind of sucks, but that's what teenagers are for.
Yeah, Tommy says in chat, I wish him wanting to play video games was the biggest problem. So yes, let me clarify that. That's all he wants to do, but he doesn't get to do it. He's usually getting himself grounded from playing on the computer, playing any type of video game. Growing up, I didn't have that stuff. We had a Sega, and it was my mom's. When she come home from work or before she would go to work, that's what she played. That was her game. We didn't touch it. And so we have a Wii, we have a GameCube, we have, what other game systems do we have? Oh, we have the computers, stuff like that. But yeah, him wanting to play video games is not the biggest problem that we have with him. And so that if I went into everything that we had to deal with him, we would be here literally all day live because there's so much that we deal with. And Tommy makes a good point. Right now, for the last 5 years, we've had to deal with him not caring about anything or anyone, and just doing what he wants to do when he wants to do it. And he never thinks of the consequences of his actions. It's always what he wants at that moment, which triggers a whole bunch of other stuff, which triggers a lot of stress. So these next 2 weeks is also going to be good for me and Tommy, so that we can de-stress, we can work through whatever is going on in our own heads and stuff like that, and get work done, because that's what we need to do. You know, I have a big order that I need to fulfill, but with him being here and pulling his crap, you know, it's hard to do that kind of stuff. So it's like, because I'm always like, where are you going? Because you have to literally keep your eyes on him 24/7. Like
It
literally.
sounds like he's very impulsive.
Very impulsive. And I wish that we could correct it, but we haven't figured or found anything out that would help him.
Does he have a diagnosis as to what causes that behavior?
No, not really. He has been diagnosed with ADHD and Tourette's, and Tommy, what was the other thing?
Has he been diagnosed with ODD?
Not so much. Well, like they've kind of like filtered through all those alphabet things.
Jeremy is very, very ODD, and that's his greatest thing. It's not the autism, it's not the ADHD, it's the oppositional stuff going on. And a lot of that, of course, is that the anxiety makes it worse. And we have tried a lot of medications already, and I tell him we just have to keep going, and getting him to do that has not gotten us far. He did try one. It was probably like Zofran, you know, and that just made him worse. So that one didn't work. But when he was a kid, we did all the ADHD medications, and he burned through all of those.
Yeah, he was on medication, and it made it worse.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
We took him off of all of that stuff, and he has not had any medication since. But that's what the answer is around here, is they just want to medicate him and not focus on what the real issue is. And we've been to doctors, so many counselors, and every time he goes to a counselor, the behaviors get worse. They get horrible. And it gets to the point where you're like, what do you do? What is the next step?
Yeah.
Because it's crazy. And we have taken him to the police department. This irritates me. We've taken him to the police department to have them scare him, and maybe that would help straighten his behaviors out. And what did they say in front of him? Oh, we can't do nothing. Let him sit in a jail cell for a few. I mean, come on now. You know, don't do that. So he's convinced that there's nothing they can do. And then the magic number keeps changing older and older and older. And it's like, really? But we don't have anything, like we don't have any Scared Straight programs. We don't have any boot camp, you know, we don't have any of that stuff here. And
Utah used to. I don't know if there are any problems.
yeah, we were looking into, because we're planning on moving out to Vegas or to Nevada.
Oh, wow.
And so I was looking at places out there, and there's some in Utah.
Southern Utah.
There is one, I think, in Arizona, and then there's a couple in Nevada. But they have the programs we're looking for out there. But
lots of money.
Yeah.
Lots of money.
They turn martial arts.
Yeah, and like Tommy says too, you know, he needs something that's very structured, like boot camp, old school boot camp.
Except martial arts helps a lot.
Has he ever done martial arts?
He doesn't like to be touched. He doesn't like contact. And he's like, it's weird. Like, he's very, it's hard to explain him in a sense. You know, like I could sit here and I can name off 20 different things that my daughter's good at, that our daughter's good at. I can think of 3 for our son. And that was from when he was little, because he doesn't give us anything positive to say. And yeah, and Tommy says he's too lazy to do martial arts. He won't do it. He contact. He washes dishes on his elbows like this, and he was leaning. And we went and made him rewash all the dishes in the house because, well, when you do this, you don't get everything. And when you go to grab, like, have you guys ever reached into a cupboard and grabbed a dish and it be slimy?
Yeah.
Oh, that set Tommy off. That set me off. I was grossed out, and I'm like, "Look, are you trying to get me sick? Because this will get me sick." So we had to take everything, or he, not us. We made him take everything out and rewash it and wipe the cupboards out, because that stuff could get me really, really sick. And so we made him wash everything all over again. And if he had to do it until he got the hang of it, of washing dishes. He did not like it, but we didn't know what else to do. And I wasn't going to rewash the dishes since I'm not the one that washed them in the first place and put them back in the cupboard that way. Yeah, he works harder to try at trying to avoid doing something than just doing what he.
Oh yeah, that's Jeremy. Like right now, he's already been paid, and he was supposed to vacuum and mop the upstairs, mop the kitchen, and so I'm still waiting for him to do it. I asked him the other day.
Oh,
and
wow. Yeah, we go through waves. If that makes any sense to anybody.
Sure.
He goes through waves, and they call it a honeymoon period, where like he's really good for a short time, and then all of a sudden he's just like this out of control. He's just out of control, and then we get him back down to like a roller coaster. It's really weird. It's really hard to explain, and it's horrible to have to, say that you have a punk child, because everything that you've tried, nothing works. And he is a big punk. And there's so much more that I could sit and tell you, but like I said, we'd be here all day. We've had.
What's the situation where he's visiting right now?
That's his aunt and uncle.
So like, are they like really strict, or
they're like and so
okay.
we're.
Have you had any calls yet?
Not yet. They just left yesterday, but
I was just curious how he would do in a different situation.
Yeah, we've tried that.
If he's gonna try them like he,
Yeah, in the past we have tried that. And we've gotten calls from his uncle, and we've had to talk his uncle down from the cliff because of his behaviors. So I don't know, it's frustrating, very frustrating. And so that doesn't help my mental health when he's pulling that stuff, because it triggers my mental health beyond belief. And it's disappointing. It's very disappointing. It feels like I failed.
I was going to say that there's part of you as a parent that feels like you're a big failure when you're not seeing the outcome, the desired outcome in your children. And then you have to remind yourself that they are their own individuals, and no matter what you do, they're going to choose how they're going to react. And
yeah, and that's like the next 2 weeks, it's a break. It's, gives me time to like try to get all the stuff that's up here fighting and going on to kind of like sort it out. And then hopefully it'll be okay when he gets back, but it only lasts for so long, and then we're right back to square one. And so we just, Rizzy said, have you had him checked for other disorders? I thought my son was lazy too, but he has, what is it called? I don't know how to say that in his body. It's just and he struggles with simple things.
Oh, okay. A friend of mine has EDS in a support group for it. I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Tommy's response to her was, I'm really at a loss. It's really hard to explain. And that's what, what I was saying too. It really is hard to explain. Some kids have disorders. We understand that. But some kids are just punks. And he falls under the punk category because they won't, they don't do nothing here to help us. And it's really frustrating because Tommy and I, neither one of us are druggies. Neither one of us are alcoholics. And because we are not drug addicts and we are not alcoholics, they won't help us with anything when it comes to him, to our son.
Sad.
And so it's frustrating that we're not getting the help that we need for him. And so I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it because it is such a hard thing to explain. And a lot of people think we're crazy and that we're just bad parents, and we are not. Until they experience it themselves on what we've been trying to say and try to explain what we go through with him, a lot of people don't understand.
If you haven't explored oppositional defiance disorder, perhaps that can just bring some insight to you.
He was diagnosed with
learned
that.
a lot.
Yeah, he has been diagnosed with that, but they took it away and gave him the diagnosis MDD. MDD. Hold on.
I gotta Google that one.
And this is just contributing to your health issues, Destiny. It's got to affect your health issues.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is just more than.
Okay, it's DMM. It's mood dysregulation disorder, MDD. There's too many abbreviations, but it's mood dysregulation or mood dysregulation disorder was the last thing that he was diagnosed with. And let me tell you, it fits because it's got a whole bunch of other stuff that is intertwined with it. But at the same time, it doesn't explain everything. And it's very frustrating. And I don't want to give him excuses on his behavior because no matter what the situation is, some of the things that he's done is not okay for what there's no excuse for some of his behavior. Actually, I think I'm going to do a video this week on that specific disorder and what I've learned from it, because it's.
He's always in trouble, huh?
Oh yeah, always. We literally have to hide things, and we shouldn't have to do that. When we tell him no, we shouldn't have to hide electronics. We shouldn't have to hide sweets. And sweets, we do not give him sweets because he begins to steal them. And he is worse than a crack addict. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but he has that impulse with sugar that people who have drug habits have, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's horrible. And Tommy's right. People always suggest a mental health issue with him until they spend some time with him. Then they say he should be prescribed a 1980s ass whooping. And it is true. And, there's so many things that intertwine with him, and it's so hard to express and to talk about. And it's hard to explain what we've all gone through.
Yeah, I mean, you can throw out all the labels you want,
right?
But in the end, he's going to have to learn how to live, a quote normal life,
right?
And not use that label as a crutch.
Yeah, and
because he's 14 now, so he, logically, it's time for him, I don't know if he ever throws that back in your face. Mom, I have this and that. That's why I do these things. That's why there's some way that this could get worked on, I guess. I don't know. Show him ways of,
and we
have, like you said, he doesn't seem to care, but
he actually got to the point where when he started counseling, he peed in his room like an animal and ruined the floor, and we made him scrub it. But he was, I don't even know how to explain it. It looked like we were raising puppies up in his room. That's how bad it was. And go up there, would clean it. And Tommy's like, you need to stop cleaning it, and you need to make him clean it. It took 2 months straight of him cleaning up his own urine to get him to stop. 2 months. And I was just like, oh Lord. And so we have to redo the floor because it's stained and it's clean. I had to go and buy, Tommy, do you remember the name of that stuff? But it's for puppies.
Yeah, the natural whatever, it has the enzymes in it.
To break down the smell, and clean it, and sanitize. Oh yeah, I had to buy a big bottle of it.
Yeah, you can get it like in the gallon size. Nature's Miracle.
Yeah, it's something along that line. Let me.
And so what does he say when you ask him why he does that?
He looks at the ground, or he says, I don't know.
Interesting.
He doesn't say anything at all. He just stares. A lot of times we get blank stares.
Very interesting.
A lot of times we get blank stares.
Jeremy would the house that we lived in when the kids were young, the kids' rooms had window seats, and Jeremy had busted the screen out of his, and he would pee out the window. But
at least he peed out the window.
Yes, but at one point, because Jeremy had destroyed everything. He had a broken window. It was double pane, so just one of the panes was broken, but it was still something that was going to need to be replaced. But no screen, holes in the walls, no carpet, no window fixture, no light fixture, no closet on his door. He had subfloor, a mattress, a blanket, a pillow. He didn't even have sheets because he had destroyed everything, and he couldn't have any toys in his room or he would never sleep. And I was like, oh my gosh, if DCFS ever finds out about this, we're gonna be in so much trouble. But bring over parents of an autistic kid, and they're like, yeah. And and the mattress had holes in it because he had cut it up. He was a wild animal as a child.
We actually had a counselor tell us to take everything out of the bedroom
Mhm.
and just give them a mattress, a pillow, and a blanket, and
Oh,
they can
wow.
turn
So
everything back.
I did
And
something that was advised.
yeah, we were told to do it because some kids just that's how they can learn. So we tried it. Oh, it was a horrible thing. I mean, it gets frustrating after a while trying to explain the things, and I know I don't explain everything correctly because there's so much stuff and I get them all intertwined, and it really messes with my head, and it's crazy. And like Tommy said, he was too lazy to come down the stairs because our bath, okay, so their rooms are right here. Jasmine's room's here, Joey's room's over here, and there's the stairs, and the bathroom's right there, like right at the end of the stairs. And he was refusing to come down to use the bathroom, so he just thought he'd just be wherever he wanted to. And I'm just like, not good. We were told to put a potty chair in there, so we tried that. Oh yeah, it didn't stop until after 2 months of making him clean it himself.
Jeremy tried peeing in the cat litter box.
Yeah.
And the cats didn't like that.
Yeah, Joey's done that. Yeah, we had to put alarms on his bedroom door and cameras in his room, and he would break them because we were to the point where we were so tired that we couldn't keep our eyes open, so we had to do something. And we had cameras up, we had door alarms on his bedroom door so that when he opened his door, it would go off, and then we thought maybe that would scare him. Nope, he broke it. He figured out how to get it and break it, and he literally. We had a camera set up, and they were sleeping downstairs, and because it was too cold upstairs, it was before we had insulation up there, which is recently, thank God. But they were down here, and he literally, like, his sister's sleeping on the couch this way, and he's sleeping this way because we had an L-shaped couch. And he stood up and literally peed over top of her head onto the wall and down the back of the couch. Live on right on the camera. We recorded the whole thing. And you see him literally look at the camera and watch the camera as he's peeing over his sister's head and doing that. I'm like, what is wrong with him? I don't know what's wrong with him. We are at a loss. And yeah, Joey has, the bathroom was 8 feet away. Yep. Because we have a smaller kitchen. So, like, all you have to do is just walk this way. The bathroom's right there. Nope. He looked at the camera, watched the camera, and peed over his sister's head. It gets frustrating, and it messes with your head. And when you have mental health issues and you're dealing with all this, it makes it rough. Makes it very rough. So if anybody has any suggestions on how to deal with this, so far that what we've explained, please, I would love to hear them, because at this point, I mean, he doesn't do the peeing thing anymore, thank heavens. And he's only peed in the litter box one time, and the cat does not like that either. Hi, puppies. Welcome, welcome. Now we're just dealing with the other stuff. So, it's frustrating. But we have been on for an hour and 48 minutes, and I do have some stuff I need to do this afternoon. I have a huge order, like I said. I want to thank you ladies so much for joining me. Next week, 11 a.m. Central Time, we will be doing another mental health live chat, and I hope you all can join us. Did you guys want to say anything before we head out?
I just said I hope you all have a great week and enjoy yourselves. And Destiny, I hope you enjoy a break from the kids. And hope
If
it's
you
a
two ladies
fruitful
can
week
stay
for
on
you.
after the live, that would be great.
What?
I said if you guys could stay on just a short minute after the live, that would be great. Thank you everybody for coming. Have a beautiful day. Have an amazing week. Look for I think let me look. Next weekend I will know for sure time and for the St. Patrick's Day live, and I will drop a video this week on the MDD, or I have it saved, so I'm going to drop it so people know what it is. It's a fairly new diagnosis, but maybe it'll help somebody else as well and understand it. So with that, much love, everybody, and we will chat at you soon.
Battle on, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Forgot to hit the end button.